Hi everybody, I've got a sort of a multiple beer review video for you. I've seen a sort of beginning to mid-January 2023, and I have seen all over my Instagram and all over my Twitter for the past week or so a selection of American. You'd see it in the thumbnail anyway. A big selection of American craft beers that have landed in home bargains. Now, this interests me for a couple of reasons. One, I suppose the first question is, can home bargains, obviously it's a bargain store, the price of some of the things in there is absolutely insane, especially in the beer world. Can they deliver good American craft beer for the price point that they need to sell at? So how good's the beer really going to be? And two, I love American craft beer. I've got probably 50% of my family lives just west of Chicago, so I find myself out there quite often. And I haven't been out there actually since I started YouTube, which is a shame, but that will be rectified soon. But I've got a massive interest in American craft beer. I have ordered from Sierra Nevada recently because I just absolutely love their stuff, and the American stuff just has it just hits differently. Sorry, still getting over this horrible thing that I've had from Christmas a couple of weeks back. We'll run through the beers that I've got. I've got 6 of the beers that are available. I think there were about 9 of the beers available. 3 of them weren't available for me. One was a peanut butter porter or peanut butter stout. I can't remember which. We'll talk about that in a minute because I've got the banana version. One was a Dortmunder, which is like a darker lager, and then the other was an orange wheat beer from the same brewery that brewed the peanut butter beer. But I've got a nice selection. Just looking at the receipt, we've got 4 different breweries represented through the 6 beers. So let's have a little look at the 6 beers and see what we got. The first beer is a Citra Pale Ale from Upslope Brewing Company, from Boulder in Colorado. There we go. That's these aren't 330 cans, are they? These are like 355s or whatever they are. They do ounces, don't they? Anyway, it's bigger than a 330 can. We've got a robust porter from DC Brew, who I'm going to presume are from Washington. Yep, they are indeed. DC Brew. We have another beer from DC Brew called In Session, and it's an IPA. I think these cans are 355. We've just seen it on the bottom there. We've got another one of the Upslope beers. This time it's a craft lager. We have, and it's the beer that I'm most interested in, a Paradox. This is a 473 milliliter can. God knows. But a Paradox Brewery German style Helles called Parahels. There we go. And then we've got the Tailgate Brewery, that's those guys, with a peanut butter and banana milk stout. Some of you would have had the peanut butter stout. I think that's been seen quite commonly here in the UK, but the banana one is new to me. So like I say, there were a couple of others, but these are the ones that were available when I went in. And we'll go through the prices in a bit, but let's start off. It makes sense to start off with what ABV was that? 4.8. Let's go with the beer that I'm most interested in, the Paradox Brewing Helles. Now, I absolutely love a Helles. There's so much to like about the Helles style. Slightly sweet, clean, crisp, refreshing beer, low bitterness, really malty. Let's have a little look. I've tried to give that a bit of an aggressive pour to get ahead in it, but that hasn't really worked out. Obviously, these beers have travelled. These beers are brewed in America. They are imported. What have we got then? We've got a cloudy... Let's touch the back of the GoPro. We've got a cloudy, straw-coloured beer. Subtle carbonation in the glass. Half a finger whitehead. It looks alright. I can actually smell it. It smells really sort of grassy from where I am right now. But yeah, looks pretty good, doesn't it? Let's get an aroma then. I'll do these quite quick fire. Malty, definitely picking up that sort of grassy edge to it. Sweet malts. Smells absolutely lovely. Yeah, smells good. Cheers, everybody. That is pretty good. That's very good, in fact. I've had a lot of the Helles beers. I've had a lot of sort of Helles style beers from breweries outside of Germany. And they all seem to just sort of miss somewhere. I think the best example of a Helles is Lost and Grounded Helles. I absolutely love that Helles that they do. But this is up there. This is lovely. Super malty, slightly grassy, slightly sweet, subtle hint of citrus, lemon citrus mainly. There's a slight hint of orange in there as well, and that just fades away to a slightly dry finish, ever so slightly. But it's super clean, it's refreshing, it's crisp. That is absolutely lovely. I've just seen on the back that they're veteran owned. It's a Paradox brewery. That's really nice. I should have said this was the most pricey beer of the lot at £2.49. So considering it's made its way, excuse me, where were they from? Paradox. Is that a sticker? They stick all these stickers on. I think this might have been brewed. Doesn't really say where they're from. I don't know where they're from, but the veteran owns a fair play. Yeah, quite like that. Yeah, really refreshing. Right up my street. Yeah, that's good. For £2.49, I'm not gonna consider that they've made it halfway across the world for that money because they're on our shelves. I've got my little bit of cardboard here that I'm going to make a note of. I am going to give that where's my marker pen? I'm going to give that a good 4 out of 5. I quite like that. Hits all the right notes for me. And yeah, I would absolutely buy that again. Right then, the next one. Let's work our way up the styles because I don't want to go back because you often miss. We have got the Upslope Craft Lager, 4.8%, from Boulder in Colorado. Excuse me. Let's get her open and into a glass. Boom. Got my GBBF glass here. Boom, there we go. What have we got? Well, we've got a crystal clear, straw coloured beer, one finger white, tight white foamy head. Carbonation, there's no widget in this glass. Lovely levels of carbonation in there, making its way up to the head of the glass. That looks pretty good. Looks good in the glass, I have to say. Let's get an aroma then, see what we get. This was one of the ones I was quite excited for. Really malty. I don't know if it smells like sort of sweet orange. I'm trying to think what it is. There's something sweet. It's not quite citrus, but there is a citrusy note in there. I want to go with sweet orange for me. It smells pretty good. I know I said sweet orange last time, or orange last time on the last one, but that actually smells pretty decent. Let's tap the back of the GoPro again. Let's go in. Cheers, everybody. Yeah, it is orange. Orange right at the back with a slight hint of bitterness. But overall, it never really gets going, this one for me. It's lovely and malty up front. Lovely and grassy, malty. Not overly sweet at all. But it never really gets going. The bitterness comes in quite early. The bitterness comes in sort of midway part of the beer, and it's not a nice bitterness for me. No, not keen. Not keen on this. I was quite excited for this one because I do like a good craft lager. It's got an ever so slightly floral edge to it, but the bitterness comes in way too early. For me, I think if there were other flavours in there, I think they're just killed by the bitterness. Not keen. I think it's all right. It's just got a horrible astringent bitterness at the back that I'm not a fan of. Upslope lager. I'm going to give that a 2 out of 5. Not keen on that at all. I should have said, actually, that beer was £2.39. So for 10 pence more, you can buy that, and that's fantastic. Yeah, not keen on that upslope, I have to say. Right, did we have a session? Was it a session IPA? Right, next in terms of styles and ABVs, we're going to go for the DC Brown. Let's get this off, see where they're from. Oh yeah, Washington, of course, I said that already. Let's get the can open then. Right, so this is defined as an IPA, and the colour's got me worried already. How it looks in the glass has got me worried already. This just looks like... It just looks very similar to that craft lager I've just poured. Hazy, straw-coloured beer. Slightly hazy straw-coloured beer. Subtle carbonation. One finger white head. Looks exactly the same as that lager that I've had. Come on, don't let me down. It smells fantastic. It smells great. Passion fruit dominated aroma, mango. Subtle hint of pineapple, but it's right at the back, really led by that passion fruit. Nice sweet zesty lemon in there as well. That actually smells really, really good. I was quite disappointed when I poured it out, but let's go in. Cheers, everybody. Subtle hint of sweet malt at the start, but those tropical aromas that smelt so good just don't come into this beer, and there is a horrible metallic dry bitterness at the back of this beer. How much was it? £1.99. This smells like a headache in a glass. I don't really want. I'm going to have one more mouthful and that's it. No. The only taste of fruit I'm getting... Oh my god, that bitterness is rank. That's a rancid beer. That's got... I'll tell you what that's got. That's got Aldi beer... Aldi Lidl Beer Fest vibes. That's got Aldi Lidl Hop Foundry Beer Fest vibes all over it. The only real fruit that I'm getting out of this... And I think it's because of that bitterness, is a real sort of bitter, orange peel like. You know, if you bite into it, and if you can't peel it, you sometimes bite into the orange to start the peel. That's what it tastes like. It's not nice. That's quite crap, actually. The DC IPA, that's... If I've given the upslope a 2... That DC IPA, for the way it smells, I'm going to give it a 0.5 out of 5. That is absolutely minging. That is minging. Right then. let's have a little look. Let's go for the Upslope Citrus Pale Ale. This, or Citra Pale Ale, should I say. This should be, I'm really hoping that this is actually half decent. Right, got my glass here. This particular beer was $2.39. So, yeah, same price as the craft lager. Let's go in. Bit of smoke on the can opening. Got a Twisted Hops Allegra glass. It's a dark beer. Pale, isn't it? Not an IPA, yeah. It's darker. So what have we got here? We've almost got an amber coloured beer, one finger white foamy head, subtle levels of carbonation in there. The colour shocks me. It's a very, very dark beer. Let's get my nose in, see what we get. Yeah, this smells good. Lemon, slightly piney. Passion fruit. Slight hit of mango. That smells really good. Let's go in. Cheers, everybody. That has got a slightly weird bitterness at the back. But up to that point, it's not a bad beer. Lovely sweet bready malts up front. The lemon's in there from start to finish. Passion fruit comes in halfway through, but it's there and gone. And there is that horrible bitterness at the back again. Oh God, it literally, it's kind of got that Diet Coke saccharin, aspartame, drying, metallic bitterness. Do you know what I mean? Cheap beers normally have it. If you've ever had any of the Aldi, Lidl, Beer Fest beers, they normally have it. But up to that point, the beer's actually quite good. The sweet bready malts up front are lovely. The hoppy flavours don't quite come in as much as you would like. But yeah, it's that horrible metallic, sticky, astringent, dry bitterness at the back that just, yeah, doesn't scream quality at all. Right, I'm going to wash up a couple of glasses and then we're going to do the last two beers. And boom, we're back. I just realised I didn't rate this. It's slightly better than the lager, but not much. I'm going to give that a 2.5 out of 5. It could have been really good. I just think maybe the type of hops they've used. I think maybe it's probably a lot of hop oils. A few little cheats have been thrown in there. But yeah, those horrible bitter notes. I hate them. Absolutely hate them. I did say that was £2.39 as well, didn't I? Right, we're down to the last two beers then. I've just seen what's up next. We've got the DC Brow Robust Porter. Now, the only saving grace, or the only sort of thing that makes me hopeful for this beer is a lot of the time it's hard to produce an IPA with cheap products. To produce a porter with cheaper products, there's more of a place to hide with the porter. So hoping this isn't too bad. Let's get this open then. Oh, huge puff of smoke on the can opening. Let's get her in the glass. I'm going to do quite an aggressive pour with this one. Boom. There we go. What have we got then? We've got a beautiful dark beer in the glass. Slight tan coloured head. One finger. Looks good. Looks really good. For a porter, for me, it looks absolutely bang on the money, I have to say. Let's get an aroma then. Chocolate and treacle for me. There is a kind of milky coffee thing in there as well, but it doesn't smell. It doesn't smell overly roasty. Slight hint of sweet vanilla in there, but yeah, smells good. Looks good. Come on then, let's go. Cheers, everybody. There is still a slight hint of that horrible metallic bitterness again. It just, this is just killing these beers. That's 4 now, isn't it? The beer's all right up to that point. Oh, it's the last mouthful I'm having because I don't want to get a headache. Slight hint of the dark bready malts. Chocolate. Treacle. Definitely coffee, but oh god. That's all to start. The coffee takes over right at the end, and that gives way to this horrible, honestly, give me goosebumps, horrible bitterness. No, not a fan. Not a fan. I mean, these DC beers have been terrible. I mean, you do have to wonder, just looking at the cans, I mean, the Helles is an exception, actually. The Helles, it's kind of got whoever this company is imported by, Heathwick Limited. Whether that's a buying group for home bargains, I don't know. But these upslope cans have got stickers on them. So I imagine these upslope cans are actually brewed for the American market. But they have to put the stickers on them to get up to the British standards. Or the British regulations, should I say. Whereas these don't. This brewed by Heathwick's all like kind of on the label. There's not a sticker. They're all imported by this Heathwick, I think. But yeah, not good. DC Brow. I'd be surprised if they're actually a proper brewery. I'd be surprised if they're actually set up. Yeah, not a fan. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I'm not going to drink any more of it, but the flavours are actually quite nice. Little to no mouthfeel. Never really gets all that sweet at any point. But it's just a horrible, horrible bitterness that it annihilates the beer. That DC Brow Porter was $1.99. I mean, you do have to, obviously there is a bit of a thing here. You do have to wonder about drinks that are produced. I mean, in Lidl, that would probably be $1.49. And then you think that's been produced in America, flown, however, I don't know what Washington is, 3,500, 4,000 miles across the Atlantic and landed in our stores. You do have to wonder what you're going to get for that. But that's the whole point of this video, right? So hopefully I can save you a few quid, you guys. If you want to go out there and explore these beers, I would say avoid those DC Brow beers. That was slightly bad. That was slightly better than the IPA, but not very good at all. I'm going to give that a 1. I'm going to give it a 1 out of 5. I was thinking about giving it a 1.5, but that ending, that ending kind of exposes the beer a little bit. You know, I think they can cheat you up to that point. They can kind of trick you, not cheat you, that's the wrong word. They can kind of trick you into thinking that you've got a great product in your hands, but actually right at the end, that horrible bitterness is normally a sign of a really poor quality beer using cheap ingredients. In my experience, I should say. Now then, we've got Tailgate Brewery here, with quite a famous American beer. I think if a lot of people have drunk an American beer, aside from obviously your Sierra Nevadas and things like that, it was probably going to be one of these. I think, or I believe, that Beers of Europe. I bought a can of this from Beers of Europe back in the sort of COVID 2020 days. but I didn't have the banana version, and it was all right. This beer, it was all right. This particular beer was $1.79. Is it the cheapest beer here? Okay, it's the cheapest beer here, and I remember it being all right. I don't remember it being sensational. I remember it being quite sweet and maybe a sort of drink that someone getting into craft beer maybe would appreciate more than someone that's well into their craft beer. But let's see what we get. Tailgate Brewery. Where are they from? Nashville in Tennessee. There we go. I'd love to go to Nashville. I'm really into my country music, modern country. So yeah, let's go in. Right, aggressive pour. Looks very, very watery, this beer, or viscous if you want a better word. Let's get an aroma and see what we get from this tailgate beer. It's just sweet, sweet, sweet peanut butter. If you've kind of think Reese's kind of peanut butter. The banana is in there, but it's a very sweet banana, almost like those sort of foamy bananas you get from the tuck shop. Chocolate. It smells alright. Maybe not a beer that I would choose to drink, but it actually smells alright. In the glass, we've got a slight bit of light bleeding through the bottom, but it's a dark beer, half a finger tan head. Last beer, come on, let's end this on a high, please. Let's go. Cheers, everybody. First thing I will say, that banana ruins the beer. I remember it being better than this. But yet again, and I hate to sound like a broken record, there is that horrible. It's not there as much as it is in the other beers, especially those DC brow beers. But there is that horrible metallic back end to this beer again. Is there any idea on when this was made? Well, it goes out of date in October 2023, so it can't be that old. What APV was it? Doesn't taste very strong at all. 5C. First part of the beer you greet with a huge whack of peanut butter, chocolate and coffee. The citrus is really quite nice. And then the middle of this beer is just concentrated, fake, synthetic banana flavour. Then after that, nothing at all really, just a strange bitterness. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I remember the other beer being better than this. Has something happened to these beers? I mean, I know probably not. I mean, geez, it's a beer brewed in Nashville in Tennessee and I'm drinking it for £1.79. It's not going to be the best beer in the world. But I did hold out a bit of hope because I had, like I say, a can of this. I'm certain I had a can of this from... I've actually had 2 cans of this, thinking about it. I had one in a Chef and Brewer down in Winchester back in 2020. And I bought another one, I'm sure of it I did. And I'm sure it was from Beers of Europe. But just, and then what you're left with in your mouth is this foamy banana synthetic. Do you remember those? I'll tell you what it is. Do you remember those antibiotics as a kid? Yellow antibiotics that tasted like banana. At the time, as a kid, it was like, yeah, used to look forward to getting ill to have those antibiotics. It tastes like that. The banana doesn't know flavours at all. The original version is better, and the original version is available on the shelf, but I don't know if it's going to have that horrible bitter back end. I'd probably say it would do. I am going to rate that. It's 1.5. So overall, these beers have produced have been quite poor, really. Aside from one that I would actually happily go out and buy again tomorrow. The lowest score, we'll work up from the bottom. The lowest score I gave to this DC Brow IPA. That is a 0.5 out of 5. That is absolutely rank. Don't buy it. Terrible, terrible beer. Dogs barking. And the next beer is a 1 out of 5. That's this DC Brow Robust Porter. Yet again, had the makings of an alright beer, but then it just died with that horrible. These were the two most sort of bitter beers, not in a good way. Not in a good way. Metallic, fake, synthetic tasting beers. We got up to the Upslope beers. The Upslope Lager, I've given that 2 out of 5. Just didn't really resemble a craft lager at all, if I'm honest. Not a fan of that at all. Bearing in mind that particular lager was £2.39. You could get a better, I would probably say, spend an extra, if you can, spend an extra whatever it is and go and buy a 440 can of the Lost and Grounded lagers out of Waitrose or wherever they are. The Upslope Citra Pale Ale, I've given that 2.5 out of 5. I think they had I think they had the makings of a really good beer. But it just missed again. That is just that horrible, horrible bitterness. It just stops you from going in again. This Tailgate beer, obviously we talked about that. That's a 1.5 out of 5. But I think actually the star of the show of all of those beers is that the Helles from Paradox, wherever they're from. I just think it's a great beer for the money. What was it? £1? Sorry, no, it's £2.49. I think that's a really good beer for the money. Like I say, there were a couple of these other Paradox. I think the Dortmunder Lager was a Paradox beer that just wasn't on the shelf that I couldn't pick up. That might be worth a try, but overall, guys, I probably wouldn't rush out and get them if I'm honest. I think you can get better beers for the money. The novelty factor's there, obviously, because they're American, but I think that's about where it finishes for me. Right, guys, thanks very much. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I've hoped I've saved you guys a few quid. If you obviously you guys go out and explore for yourself, but if you trust my opinion, I would say don't bother. Just grab that one. Cheers, guys. Thanks very much. Let me know what you think. If you tried any of these beers, let me know. What was your experiences with them? Not great, if I'm honest. Get like and subscribe, guys, if you'd be so kind. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.